Much, Honorable Speaker. We have the two arms of the state here present, the executive and the legislature. Both derive their authority from the people and are supposed to exercise that authority to promote the general welfare of the people. That's why we're here. Honorable Speaker, the executive is empowered to appoint ministers who are supposed to have the competence and experience to exercise direction and control over ministries and other government business. And we are to exercise oversight over them. I am from an urban constituency. And what is important is to bear in mind that there is need for institution building. Governance is about institutions and about policies and their implementation. We need a Ministry of Urban and Regional Planning and Development. We must put an end to this fire brigade measure of simply saying Banjul is sinking, so let's go and do something about Banjul. Another place will be sinking, then you go and do something about it. What we need is comprehensive planning to know exactly what is needed in order to facilitate the development of regions and municipalities. Honorable Speaker, I'll just give you an example. The rainy season is coming. Roads, drainage, waste management are linked. If there's no proper waste management system, they will dump everything in the drains, and the drains will be clogged, there will be flooding, and there will be disaster in the urban areas. And this is precisely what has been happening and will continue to happen. You've had it mentioned by the member for Bundu. So you need responsibilities to be demarcated. They will tell you right away, the municipalities are responsible for secondary roads. The Roads Authority and the ministry responsible for the major roads. But where is the linking of the two? They are linked. Which means that at this very moment, you need a relationship between the ministry and the municipalities. Not just based on mere words, but seen as these are institutions. And therefore, they must have a relation that will be visible, known. It means that the ministry and the municipality should sit down and sign a memorandum of understanding to agree on an agenda and agree which institution is responsible for what, and a work plan established that is time-bound. Then we will not say, the rainy season is here, what is going to happen? Honorable Speaker, this is how we must work. Fire is a menace in the municipality. People lost everything and they have nowhere to turn to. What is the purpose of a government? What is the purpose of a municipality? You collect rates. Why can you not have an inbuilt system in those rates for fire insurance? If 30,000 people pay $100, that's $3 million. Providing you with fire facilities and also being able to reconstruct certain buildings and offer disaster relief. Honorable Speaker, things will not drop from the sky. That is the purpose of using our brains to be able to manufacture the type of policies and programs that will address the needs and aspirations of our people. That is the purpose of a government, both local and national. The ID card is a menace. What is the purpose of planning? We had a problem with the company before. Then eventually, government took a decision. What is the decision? It's to provide a service. Why should you give any chance to a company to put this menace on our people when it does not have the competence to provide the service to our people? What is the purpose of that company? So government must go back and engage that company, that services are supposed to be delivered with efficiency and effectiveness. If you are incapable of doing that, then you are not fit for purpose. So we should not continue to demand for what we have a right to get. That's why we say taxation without representation was unacceptable. That's why we put an end to colonialism, so that taxation will be linked to representation and the people will get the services that they need. Honorable Speaker, I have raised questions about these chieftaincies who are being removed. Honorable Speaker, here is a commission of inquiry, the Faraba Banta Commission of Inquiry. Go to page 51 of that inquiry. It is recommending that the community structures that can enforce stability and peace must be consulted at all times before government makes a decision. That the lack of cooperation between the VDC, the youth, and the Alcalo is precise, and lack of understanding is what gave rise to the crisis. And therefore, the government must ensure that there must be a consultative process in all these villages before any decision is made that concerns the villages. You go and remove the chief of Ngayen Sanja. There is a VDC, youth organizations, Alcalos. Who did you consult? And I have this letter here that the chief is being written to, that he's being retired because of old age. Old age. I don't have time, or I'll distribute this eventually, and you see, old age. Where in the Local Government Act, in the Constitution, that there is an age limit to chiefs? And here it is saying it's through executive order. Executive order that has no legal foundation. That is the basis of impunity and dictatorship. So it is important that whoever administers the state, you must give respect to your ministers. If you do not empower ministers for them to exercise their powers on the basis of law, then you do not have a state of law. You do not have a state of rule of law. You have a state and rule of might. So it is important for the executive to know that the rule of law means relying on your ministers and giving them free responsibility so that you can hold them accountable, because they are accountable under Section 75. They can be removed for misconduct. And therefore they will be accountable for their actions. Honorable Speaker, I'm telling the executive to look into that. Because this matter will not be left to rest. It must engage in consultation, otherwise it will be seen to have other motive other than to promote good governance. To see the proper functioning of our institution. We've mentioned about education. I went to a school, a boarding school in the United States. That's industries. Everything was produced by the students. I went to a college, the same. It had an airport, hotels. I know a Gambian who worked at the airport who did aeronautics at that school. Maybe we were the only two Gambians who went to the school. Everything was there. You have Gambia College, 98 acres, 98 hectares of land. What is being done to make that productive, and it can even create earning capacity for that agriculture? So we need all these universities that we've seen in the world. They invest and earn income. This is not about public-private partnership. This is about public responsibility. Empowering all those institutions so that they'll be able to function and earn and upkeep themselves. That is possible. Honorable Speaker, we must also have humanistic architecture and planning. Everybody is involved. All of us are citizens, sovereign citizens. Nobody should be left out. So therefore, in the planning of colleges, you must have all these aesthetic values ingrained. Recreation centers where people can sit. It's not just create concrete jungles. These people living with disability should also be taken into consideration in the whole architecture. So the whole school system needs to be reinvented, Honorable Speaker. We are talking about 250,000 children in our lower basic school, 98,000 in our upper basic. 60,000 of plus in our 64,000 in our high schools. What system exists? We talk about quality education based on what? Based on results from examination. Is that what quality education is all about? We are seeing the need that, yes, academia is necessary, academic learning is necessary at the basic level, but as you go up a basic, you must link academic and technical learning, vocational learning, and that goes throughout into high school to prepare the person for the school of work. The curriculum must be built on that foundation. We are yet to know what we want. And Honorable Speaker, we need, as the member for Woolly has said, we need a national conference to look at again what we want, what type of education system, for what Gambian, what type of education system can build about a self-determined Gambian, a self-determined development. What is self-determination? What type of development are we asking for? What type of division of labor should exist in our society? That is what principally what we must look at if we are to not to misguide ourselves, and if we are not to mislead, if we are not to misinform. We must have the clarity for us to lead, to inform, and to guide. Honorable Speaker, look at the economy. It is very important for the minister who is accompanying us to bear in mind the state of our economy. We are saying, we were giving the facts in his budget speech, that in terms of our foreign reserves, they were 2.8 months in 2017 and 3 months in 2018. What will it be in 2019? That is important. But one thing that was very remarkable to note is that in terms of what is being sent to us from the workers' income, they mentioned that it's about $136.6 million. So we are beginning to see what people abroad are contributing to the national economy. When, in terms of the foreign reserves, it was just about 156 million. Just look at the small margin. So it is important then for us to look at our economy again. Are we exporting enough to earn foreign exchange, to be able to build the productive basis of our economy? That is the starting point, telling us that infrastructure building in the 2.4 billion that is earmarked for the national, 2.4 billion that's earmarked for the national development plan, you said 57% will go to infrastructure is good. We'll all say that this building is good, that bridge is good, everything is okay. But ultimately, part of that is to pay loans. What will build up the productive base of the economy to ensure that we live in prosperity? So therefore, we need to look at all these plans and put production at the base so that ultimately we have a green and industrial revolution which will generate the employment that our people need and the goods and services that will make us prosperous. Otherwise, it's the same model of development in most of our least developed countries, infrastructural development here and there for the few, and then poverty for the absolute many. That is not development that is meant in a country that we say sovereignty resides in the people. Honorable Speaker, it is important also to look at the issue of agriculture itself. People cultivate the land, and at the end of the day, what happens? They find it difficult to even sell their crops. Honorable Speaker, we need a cooperative banking system where resources will be injected so that the farming communities will build their family farms, get fertilizers, seeds, and farming implements and farm. And you also need a structure that will actually do the marketing, buy the crops, the horticultural crops, so that ultimately the farming community will not have any difficulty in marketing what they produce. Without putting that in-built system, Honorable Speaker, we will never be able to address the suffering of a farming community.
Thank you. Honorable Member, you are left with 1 minute.
Thank you very much. I'll conclude that this is a collective enterprise, Honorable Speaker. We are here to serve as oversight, to give ideas, to assist the other arm of the state so that it will come up with the policies, implement them so that collectively we can all build a country that all of us will be proud to bequeath to our children and our children's children and leave a name that is worth mentioning and retaining. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.